Hey everyone, it's the Innovators Mindset with Tim Beard and Todd Tolgetsky. How'd I do? How did it go? Is that good? All right. I am so excited to have Tim and Todd here. They are representing West Ottawa Public Schools in Michigan, Michiganders, which is like kind of mini Canada, right? Is that fair to say? Or is that fair to say? You know what CBC is, right? Like if you're Michigan, do you know what the CBC is? Watch a little hockey there, that kind of thing, or no? Do
Yeah,
you know?
for
You know
sure.
idea what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Oh yeah, Canadian Broadcasting Network.
See,
For
I
sure.
knew it. So I will actually be
John
joining.
Kerry. Yeah.
Oh, you are going old school. I
Old
love it.
school.
Yeah. So I
Tim's
am.
from the Detroit area. He knows that.
Listen, I'm not gonna say I want to. I'll share this one with you all, but I like know as a Canadian kid who grew up in Western Canada, I know way more about Detroit than you will be shocked at how much I know about Detroit just because of the TV station that I had as a kid. Like I know, stand up, tell them you're from Detroit. I know you're not in Detroit, but I know you all know that song. So I'm actually, as I mentioned, I'm joining Todd and Tim at their opening day in West Ottawa Public Schools. I was there probably like 10 years ago, so I'm really blessed to be back. But I'm really excited about the day. They have some incredible work that's going on there. And so we're going to talk a little bit about it, talk a little bit about the hopes for the day. So, Tim, I will start with you. If you can tell a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do today, how you got there, great place to start.
Yeah, I'm superintendent here at West Ottawa, headed into my seventh year here. This will be my 40th year in education, so I've been around a little bit. Started out as a teacher and a coach, and was an athletic director, assistant principal, principal, curriculum director, superintendent. So had my hand in a lot of different aspects of schools across the state of Michigan. So I'm super excited to be here at West Ottawa, where I feel like we're doing some really cool things, and excited about you coming, and excited about the work that we're doing.
Well, that it like in all honesty, I distinctly remember. I know this sounds weird. I remember being there. I think I was there prior to you being superintendent, so it does not surprise me how awesome that you say the community is because I actually distinctly remember the energy with that room of people and how welcoming they were. It was just an awesome place to be, and I really appreciate it. But I do want to ask you before we get into Todd. So you said you've been in education for 40 years, right? What
Yep.
is like the biggest difference that you see from when you first started to now? Whether it's like how schools are, kids are, like what are you seeing as a huge difference that's happening in education?
You know what's funny is people ask me that all the time, and the funny thing is I don't really think that the unique thing is how different stuff is. I think the unique thing is what things have stayed the same. I think at the core of everything we do, kids are still kids, and relationships with kids are, at the core and fundamental to everything that we do. The old adage is, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care has never changed. And I think that's still true today. So, yeah, I mean, technology has changed, the world has changed, but I think, the way we relate to people is still at the core of what we do as educators, and it's still the same.
I think that there's something that I really believe is that we talk about people will say, and I've been guilty of this, like, oh, our traditional teachers, and like tradition's not a bad thing, right? Tradition's not a bad thing. Bad teaching's bad teaching, right? Some of the best practices that are happening in our classrooms right now were also done hundreds of years ago. And there's some new stuff that's not great. But as you said, I think some of the stuff, relationships, right? Connecting with students, really knowing who they are, that was something that was really important to me as a kid. And it's no different now, even though there are other things that have changed to that. So I really appreciate that perspective because a lot of times we're always talking about the new stuff, but we're not necessarily emphasizing as you did, what has always worked and what will continue to work in the future. So Todd, if you can just kind of introduce yourself, tell us what you do, how you got there. Also, would love to hear that as well.
Sure. This is my 26th year in education and actually 26th year at West Ottawa.
Oh, wow.
I was hired as a teacher right out of Hope College here in Holland, Michigan. Taught high school economics at West Ottawa for a number of years. I was an assistant principal at the high school. Then I was the head high school principal for about 7 years before moving into central office. I'm currently the associate superintendent for innovation and secondary instruction. So I oversee all of our secondary programming, grades 6 through 12. And so I was the high school principal, George, when you were here last time. and enjoyed you then, and would love that you're coming back. It's a whole new group of teachers, but opening day we're going to have about 450 teachers there, along with all of our principals and administrators and everybody else across the district, directors and so forth. So we're super excited to have you back.
So many things have changed, but Todd has stayed the same. He's been there. Todd is the constant. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
In a good way, the best way possible.
I love it. I love that. That's what a credit to the community that, because let's be honest, not everyone likes staying where they're at, right? So that is shows something really incredible to the community. And I know that, as Tim was saying, there's some great things that you've always done, but I do want to talk a little bit about this. You have shared with me, both of you, the instructional compass, and I'm looking at this stuff. There's so many things that you're doing here that are so relevant to our world today, and there's things that I wish more school districts would actually focus on, of what you're trying to do. Todd or Tim, if you maybe want to talk about this, and I think it's not as important, and maybe I shouldn't say that, it's not just that what it's saying and what it's talking about, but how you got to it, I think is a really important point too, because I don't think all schools do this, right? So I don't know if Todd or Tim, you want to talk about this, this instructional compass, and I'll actually have a link to it down below so anyone else, doing this work can kind of look at what we're referencing right now.
Sure, I can do kind of an overview, and Todd can fill in some gaps. Our goal was, as we had a lot of conversation, our goal was to move away a little bit from the what we teach to the how we teach it, and focus on instructional pedagogy and process, and that was kind of the goal. And how we went about doing it was working with our principals and our teachers to kind of gather their input so that they really had ownership in what we produced. And ultimately what we wanted was, when we finished this product, we have different kind of strands and different lanes that we're looking at, and descriptors of those different lanes. And we wanted teachers to be able to look at that document and say, oh, that was me, or I thought of that, or that's my idea. And so we tried to kind of crystallize the thoughts of 400 plus teachers and put them in one document in a way that would be something that each person could identify with in their own. Todd, you want to fill in some other gaps there?
Yeah, it was definitely a collaborative process. It took us really almost the whole year to kind of get it to its final place where it currently exists. But it was one of our groups of administrators that came up with the actual compass as the image, as the background. We had a number of different ideas for it, but compass really made sense because it's really, pointing the direction. It's an aspirational model for high quality classroom instruction. What do we need to do to engage kids in this day of their level of engagement in school, versus what they have in their pocket or even outside of school? How are we going to engage kids better inside the classroom, inside our schools? And so the 8 pieces to it were definitely developed by our teachers, and then kind of whittled down, and our administrators had a say in what is the final description look like. And then this does exist in every classroom, and we continue to bring it back, in front of our teachers every year. Our new staff, we've had a lot of teaching turnover due to retirement in the last couple of years, and it's a good space for our new teachers to say, hey, here's the goal. Here is the goal of instruction, and how do you get there? That's your craft.
So I got to point out something I think is really important to articulate for anyone listening and considering doing this work. You had mentioned that it had taken a long time to put together, right? That it took a year for this, and there was teacher input. What a lot of people want to do is rush through this stuff and not get the input because they'll have something there. But the problem with that mentality is that it's not going to succeed. So you get it done quickly, but then no one does it. Where it actually, if you want to do this well and you want it to last, that input, that time that you put in there is really an investment up front to ensure its success in the future. Because, as you both have articulated, it's more likely to be a successful process when people see their fingerprints all over this. I do want to point out something. I know both of you, you've been reading In Advance of the Box, and I love, and I'm biased on this, that in the middle you're saying all of these things, but in the middle you see the word relationships. And it's basically, you can't do these things unless you build rapport. Kids trust you. You have that connection. And what I love about it, it's not just the students, because you built rapport through the process of doing this with your community, with your staff. So like, what was the process of like actually having that piece of relationships as central to what you're doing? And I'll start with you, Tim, like, because I know we talked about this a little bit before we got on the podcast. Why was that so important to like all these other things in what you're doing there?
Well, I mean, to the point that you just made, until people have a element of trust or a level of trust, then you can't get to really deep work, I don't think. One of the things for us is as we started gathering ideas from people and we asked people their input and their thoughts, it became really clear that all of our teachers, and we feel it's kind of a reflection of West Ottawa in general. It's a big district that feels small because people here really care about one another. And I think that was reflected in their comments, and it became really clear that we couldn't do anything that wasn't focused on or based in this kind of idea of we care about each other and about relationships. We care about kids. We care about who they are as people. We're a super diverse school district. So having that kind of relationship with kids is really important to us. And it was at the core of everything that we got back from teachers, from principals, was somehow in some way connected to this concept of, hey, we've got to have really good relationships with kids before we can try to do any other work.
Mm-hmm. Todd, any insights on that too?
I would say it's not just relationships, between the teacher and the students. That is extremely important. But in order for our principals to really help teachers grow in this, that obviously that relationship piece between principal and teacher, between principal and superintendent, associate superintendent, whoever it is, director, those are extremely important. And we've been fortunate to hire a lot of great administrators, and a lot of them have been here for a long time now, and so that's a key for our community, our school community, for sure.
And what I appreciate about both of you, and in not just what you're modeling, but what you see in your community, is your focus on your own learning. And Todd, obviously having innovation in your title, I'm kind of partial to that because, my work on innovation over the years. I want to point out something that when you and I talked about this day, I challenged you to say like, hey, here's a way we can do this that's probably very different than what you're doing on that opening day. That's really personalized, really meeting what your staff is asking for. And I'm gonna be honest with you. When you said it, you're like, yeah, let's try this, because what I really loved about it is that it's not like, hey, you all need to take risks, you need to try different things, but we're just gonna stay the same. That's what I loved about it, is that you had that willingness. And so both of you, we've been talking about like, how do we create like an opening day that really honors the time, really builds on what exactly the people in the room are needing and asking for in that day. And so I'm looking forward to working with you on that day. So I'm gonna put myself on the spot here, and I'll start with you, Todd. If it is a successful morning when I am there, what is that? How do I help you most? Right? You can tell me right now. And so if I don't meet the standard, it's now on video. So now I'm in trouble. So like, I can't delete it after the fact because everyone's going to hear it before I get there.
We were talking this morning on our cabinet group about opening day, and it's actually our CFO who said, he was a former math teacher, and he said, the most common thing kids ask me at the door every day before they came into my math class is, are we going to do something fun today? And we all like stopped in our tracks, and we said, you know what? That probably is the most common question in the history of schools across America, isn't it? Can you remember kids at your door? Hey, Mr. Couros, are we going to do something fun today?
Yeah.
So that's what our teachers will be asking me when they walk in, on opening day. So if they leave with that question answered, then you've been successful.
It's literally actually one of the things that you have in the instructional compass is that it's fun.
Yeah, fun.
So, all right. I love it. Tim, your thoughts on that day. How do we make sure that's successful on that day? What's the best way I can serve you all?
I think one of the biggest takeaways, and alluded to us meeting together as a group today, but one of the things we all agreed on that would be a really important measure of success is to people walk out feeling not just inspired to innovate and to build innovative practices for kids, but do they feel like they have sort of permission to, that they have a space or autonomy to be creative and innovative in their practice, and that that's not only encouraged, but that we want to partner with them in doing it, that their principals, that I, as the superintendent, Todd, as associate superintendent, that we will walk shoulder to shoulder with them, hand in hand, and help them come up with ideas and help them come up with ways to not just be innovative in their practices, but hopefully to generate a generation of graduates who are innovative kids who are, to the phrase you used before, problem finders and solution finders. And I think that that would be a great outcome if people walk out feeling inspired, but also that they walk out feeling like they have kind of permission or space to create.
Listen, the more I talk to you guys, and I've been there before, I've met your community. I think I really all I can do is screw things up. So, like, 'cause things are going pretty well as they are. So, like, I'm just hoping, I can help you a little bit. But one of the things that really sticks out to me in talking to both of you, not only how you create, is the pride you have in your community, and that really means a lot to me because, like, I know you haven't read it yet, Todd. I know Tim read it for it together. Just mentioned that. So we're going to make sure you're doing test questions when I get there on that day.
Sounds good.
Community is everything to me. And what a blessing your community is to have your schools, your staff, and the great work that you're doing together. It is just really inspiring. So I can't wait to be with you guys. So I'm excited because I know I hope I can help you become better. I know I'm going to become better being there that day. So I can't wait.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Super excited.
So everyone, make sure you connect with Todd and Tim, and you will see the link to the instructional compass. I think it is very inspiring. But don't just look at what it is. Think about how it was created, because I think that matters just as much, if not more, because that's how you find that success. So I'm so excited to join you all in West Ottawa, which is actually, Ottawa's Canadian, so you're just stealing stuff from Canada now. So you just threw the West in it to throw me off, but we know what's going on. So, like, I can't wait to be with you all. Thank you so much for listening. Todd and Tim, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really can't wait to see you all.